Salvete omnes. This is chapter 36, exercise A. We are to translate the following English words and phrases into Latin words and phrases. Number 1, much more fiercely. Much more fiercely. Okay, so first off we have much. And much working here with this comparative adverb. The positive would be fiercely. The comparative is more fiercely, and the superlative would be most or very fiercely. Remember, adverbs modify verbs. They can also modify adjectives and other adverbs. So fiercely, that is going to be acer, acris, acre. That's the adjective, fierce. To make it into an adverb, you take the stem, acr, and because it's a third declension, you add iter to get the positive adverb acriter. That would be fiercely. More fiercely, which is what we have here, that would be the comparative adverb. It's the same as the accusative, singular, neuter, comparative adjective. So you take the stem, acr, acr, and you add the ending ius to get acrius, and that's what we want. For funsies, the superlative would be acerrime. It would be because it ends in er and it's nominative singular masculine, like miser and celer. You just add rimus a celerimus, celerrime, miserimus, and acerrimus. To get the adverb form, you would take off the us and add e to get acerrime, just like miserrime, celerrime. So anyway, on the task at hand, the comparative, acrius, acrius, and it's more fiercely by much, by much. That's how you think about this. Much more fiercely by much. He fought much more fiercely. He fought more fiercely by much. It answers the question, by how much more? What's the degree of difference between how fiercely he fought? So it's much, not a little bit, much, big. Multus a You put it in the ablative, singular neuter, multo. So the answer would be multo acrius. Multo acrius. If it were a little more fiercely by a little bit, we would take the ablative singular of paulum e neuter, which means a little bit, and that would be paulo acrius, a little bit more fiercely by a bit, by a small amount. But remember, number 1, we have much more fiercely by a lot, by much, mucho. That would be multo acrius. Number 2, as fiercely as possible. So we have as possible. This is the super superlative. The super superlative is quam plus the superlative. So as fiercely as possible, we want the superlative of acer, acris, acre, and we talked about it when we went over number 1. So you take the nominative singular masculine acer, add rimus, and then to get the adverb form, because that's the adjective form, acerrimus a you chop off the us a add the e to get acerrime. That would be the superlative adverb form. And then you just put quam in front of it to get quam acerrime, as fiercely as possible. Number 3, a little more often. A little more often. It is more often, which is the comparative of often. By what degree? By what amount? What is the difference? It's a little bit, not a lot, not mucho, not multo sa but a little bit. So paulum e neuter. And the ablative of paulum e neuter is paulo, because it's an ablative of degree of difference. Just like number 1, much is an ablative of degree of difference. Multo, A little bit is paulo. More often is saipe. The comparative is saipios. The superlative is saipissime. So this is going to be paulo saipios. Paulo saipios. Number 4, as soon as possible. This is actually translates into Latin as first as possible. We say quam primum, quam primum. Sometimes it's written as a single word. Quam primum, as soon as possible, ASAP. Number 5, where is he? Where is he? We're asking, where is he? That is ubi est. Present tense est. Where is he? Ubi est. But in number 6, if we're asking, where is he walking? Now, you, of course, would never end your sentence with a preposition. That would be just egregiously terrible. Where is he walking? You could also say, whither is he walking? To where is he walking? In which direction? Whither? That would be quo. Now, quo indicates motion towards. That's an ither in English. Like hither is to this place, here. Thither is to that place, there. And whither is to which place or where. Where is he walking? Whither is he walking? To where is he walking would be quo ambulat. Quo ambulat. 7, after many years. After many years. It's the preposition after, which is post, and takes the accusative case. Multos annos. Post multos annos. Now 8, look at the difference between 7 and 8. A lot of students look at these and see the same thing. After many years, it's post plus the accusative multos annos. Many years later, look at the on later. That's comparative. We're also going to use post for number 8 like we did in 7, but we're not going to have post take the accusative because it's comparative. It's many years later. So post, and then this is going to be ablative of degree of difference. It's going to be post by means of later by many years. By what degree is it later? Many years. We could say post multis annis, but typically when you see this in prose, it's written multis post annis, where the post interrupts the adjective and then the noun. Either way. 9, on the right wing. Latin does something a little idiomatic here. You would look at this and say, well, of course, that's going to be in plus the ablative of location, duh. But actually, Latin likes the ab preposition plus the ablative of separation. So it's going to be ab, plus dexter, dextra, dextrum, and cornu us neuter. So cornu dextro. And then 10, 2 paces longer. 2 paces longer. Check out longer. It's comparative. It's longer by what degree? What's the difference? Is it longer? What difference is it longer? By 2 paces. Longer by 2 paces equals 2 paces longer. The 2 paces is the ablative of degree of difference. It's the degree by which the difference is longer. So longer is going to be the comparative of longosaon, so longior, longioris. The neuter would be longios, longioris. We'll just say longior. And then by what degree? By 2 paces. We want the ablative of 2, which will be duobus. Remember, 2 is always plural. And then we want the ablative of passus us masculine. Pace, step. It's actually 2 steps. And passibus. So altogether, duobus passibus longior. Longer by what degree? What's the difference? 2 paces. Duobus passibus. Optime, very well done. That concludes exercise A of chapter 36. You are now ready to move on to exercise B of chapter 36.